حنا جايين من كل مكان للصويرة زينة البلدان نزورو ونرجع فرحان كالضبيل وللهيلولة حوض السلاح ومحيلة نضربو شوفار هاد الليلة.
Bishut Morai Verabotai, with the permission of Hashem, the parasha of this week we see the marriage of Yitzhak and Rivka, and we see that Rivka, she had two children, Yaakov and Esav, and then the Torah said Rivka, she loved Yaakov, and Yitzhak, he loved Esav. So the question is, I never saw in my life a mother that she make difference between children. I mean, if the Torah mentioned that Rivka, she loved Yaakov, that means that she loved less Esav. And Esav, he saw that. If the Torah writes that Yitzhak loved Esav, so that means that Esav, he understood that Yitzhak, he loved him more than Yaakov. And that means that Yaakov as well, he see the difference. That Yitzhak, his father, he loved Esav more than him. I never saw parents that they make difference in love between children. First. Second, the Torah said because Yaakov, he showed more love to Yosef, so the brothers of Yosef, they hated Yosef, and then all the problems that happened to Yosef, it was because that Yaakov, he showed his love to Yosef more than the others, and that's no good. So here, I do not understand what the message and why Yaakov, he was loved by Rivka and Esav was loved by Yitzhak. It's something that, I mean, if the Torah tell you this, that means there is a message here. But honest, usually we should be careful not to show love to one in the family more than the others, because you create, problems between the brothers. Unfortunately today, there is a lot of problems happen after the death of the father because of the heritage. A lot of problems. That's why it's so important and not to be scared, not to worry. When a man sees himself is not well, or a man he sees himself that he's getting old, there is there is nothing bad that not write a testament, because to avoid problems with the brothers. You know how many problems today there is? Not only today, always, but especially today. Because at the time, the girls, they had no heritage. But today, the law, any kind of law, obligates you that the heritage should be split equally. Well, this is the law. This is the law, not the Jewish law, the law in general. At the time, the women, the girls, they knew that a girl that she's married, she don't receive heritage. But the father, according to the Jewish law, as long as he lives, he can write a testament and mention, I want my daughters to get this and this and this. And that is good, if he did that when he was alive. But if he don't do it, it's a problem. It's a problem. Of course, according to the law, civil law, there is no problem. But, we live according to the Jewish law. So that means, it's so, this is not the case of my lecture today, but anyway, there is nothing to be afraid or scared that to leave a testament, to write a testament. I have a testament. I did a testament. I did it 20 years ago when I was 48 years old. So what? And I wrote there my yeshivot. This yeshiva is for this one. This yeshiva for this one. And every year I change. Baruch Hashem, every year I have more yeshivot. So every year I'm not scared to change, the clause of the testament. So there is no problem. I repeat again, there is no problem, because a lot of family, they get separated because of money, because the father passed away and he did not leave the testament, and there is problems between children. I want this, my father promised it. No, but when you leave a testament with rabbis, with a good lawyer, there is no problem. The father, he decides to give to his daughters. I mean, the father, even that according to the Jewish law, a woman, if she is married, she don't get the heritage. But if the father, before he passed away, he leave a testament and he write there, I want my daughters to get more than my children or less than my children, I don't know, we respect his will. We respect his, even according to the Jewish law. So now, my friend, this is the problem today. But today there is this big problem. There is a lot of arguments between families, and families split because of money. So it's so nice, so good, and so fantastic not to be scared, to leave a testament. That's it. I am against those people who give everything away before they pass away. Because maybe, unless if he leave for himself a good amount of money to live, so he will not rely on his children. But if he do so, that he want to give to everything to his children before he pass away, he can do it. It's better. But he should always take a lawyer and put an amount of money that he can live with it, or I don't know. There is a lot of ways how to make some arrangement. But anyway, my friend, here in the parasha of this week, we do not understand why the Torah wrote specifically that Rivka, she loved Yaakov, and Esav loved, and Yitzhak loved Esav. Something that I don't understand. Why the Torah teach me this? I mean, why Rivka, she loved more Yaakov than Esav, and Yitzhak more Esav than Yaakov? I mean, how you understand this? I mean, even there must be a reason. My friend, I was thinking this. Rivka, she was brought up, she was born with parents that they were not good people. Lavan was her brother, Bituel was the father. They were criminals, they were bad, very, very bad people. But the question is, how Rivka, she was a tzaddiket. How Rivka, she was brought up with a bad family, a family that they don't believe in God. They were thieves, they steal, they were killers, and she was a tzaddiket. How you understand this? How you understand this? And can you imagine, Rivka, usually, according to the Rambam said that you become good if you live in a good area. So when you live with good people, you become good. But if you live with bad people, so automatically you are a bad man. You are a bad person. So Rivka, she was brought up in a very bad area, bad family. And she was good. And she was a tzaddiket. And she was a nice girl. How you understand this? The answer is, it's true that according to to the crown that you mix with, you become. But Hashem give you strength to choose the right way and the bad way, or the bad way. You know, there was a story about Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes, that his rabbi, he was a big rasha, he was a bad man, and he was a big tzaddik, and then he became a big rasha, a very bad man. But Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes, he go and study Torah with him. So the rabbis, they told Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes, how you study Torah with a bad rabbi, that he's a big rasha. I mean, he can give you a bad influence. I mean, it's not good that you have to go away from him. Don't mix yourself with him. And Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes, he gave a beautiful answer. He said, look, it's like a banana. It's like a fruit. I eat the fruit and I throw the klipa. I throw la peau. I mean, it's like I take the good and I throw the bad. I mean, I know what I'm doing. I take only the good of him, and the bad of him, I throw it away. That's it. It's like you eat fish, you eat only the meat of the fish, but the others, you know, you throw the rest of the fish, that the kutzim, les épines. Les épines, you throw them. You eat only the good of the fish. So that means, my friend, that was Rivka. Rivka, she was a good girl. She was a young girl, and she only took the good of her parents, and the bad of her parents, threw it away. And the good of her parents was that they were good people. They had some good qualities. They had some, not, but 95% of their qualities were bad. But they had 5% of good qualities. They have chesed. The family of Abraham Abinu, don't forget that Abraham Abinu, he was related to the family of Lavan. They were family. Don't forget that Abraham and Sarah, they were from the same family of Lavan and all his family. So they had some good quality. That's why Abraham Abinu, he didn't want a woman from Canaan. He wanted a woman from his family, because his family, even though they were bad people, that still they had a good quality. Hesed. They do good things to others. Hesed. That's very important. Hesed, you know, to give charities. This is very, look, Lot, even that he was a big rasha, but he did good things. Charity. So that is very, very important that you should know. So Rivka Imenu, she took only the good things of her family, but the bad things of her family, throw it away. Rivka Imenu, like Rachel and Leah, they were the children of Lavan. And Lavan, he was the brother of Rivka. So you see, and Abraham and Sarah, they were related to the family of Lavan. So it was one family. They got married with through their own family. There were only one family, the family of Abraham. It was Abraham, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Bilhah, Zilpah, Lavan, Bituel, Lot. It was one family. So this is something that we learn from this parasha. So now the question is, from where Rivka, she was a tzaddiket, who teach her? But if she knew that her aunt Sarah, she was the wife of Abraham, and Abraham was very well known. Sarah, she was very well known. So everybody heard about their good qualities. So she took conscious that she should be like them. So she fighted where she was living. So she only took the good things from her parents, and the bad things she threw out. Now you understand why Rivka, she loved only Yaakov, not Esav. Because Esav, he was living with Tzadikim, with Yaakov, with Yitzhak, with Rivka, and he was a Rasha. She did not understand how this man can be a Rasha. He's living with Tzadikim. Why he's not like me? I was brought up in a bad family. I took only the good things from my family, and the bad things I threw them. And Esav, he lived in a good family. There is nothing bad in the family. There is nothing bad to learn from. And how he is a bad man, how? And that's why Rivka, she wanted to leave a message for generations. That a man, a person, can learn good things from, even if he lives with a bad family, if he uses his own strength. Or he can be a bad person even if he lives with a good family. And she took an example for herself. Look at me. I am Rivka. I was brought up in a family of Reshaim. Lavan was my brother. Bethuel was my father. Bethuel wanted to kill Eliezer. Lavan, he wanted to kill Eliezer as well. He was an idolatry man. And I was only 3 years old. And I was brought up with them. And I was tzaddiket. Look at Esav. He was born in a good Jewish family, religious family, a brother that he is a tzaddik, a father Yitzhak that he is a tzaddik. I am a tzaddiket. Instead of learning from me and learning from take lessons from me, from my husband, he remain a Rasha. So that's what the Torah wanted to teach us. That even that she was a good mother, of course she loved Esav, but she showed Esav that I'm not happy with you. You are a hypocrite. I'm not happy with you. Why you are not like Yaakov? Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim. I mean, Rivka, she showed her son that she's conscious what he is doing. Unfortunately, Yitzhak was a blind man. Yitzhak, he feels so sorry for Esav. Yitzhak, he wants to give us a lesson. Be patient. Okay, you have a child that he is Rasha. Give him a chance. Maybe one day we'll do Teshuvah. Maybe. Give him a chance. You know, my friend, there is a Gemara who said something incredible. Yad duha, yad mikaribit. You have two hands. With one hand, you can push, but with the other hand, get back. I mean, if for instance you see somebody that is a Rasha, I mean, don't push him right away. If you push him, maybe he'll become more Rasha than he was. So on one hand, try to push him, but with the other hand, with your left hand, push him, but with your right hand, bring him back. Don't push. Who knows? Maybe he will do Teshuvah. Maybe. Push and bring back. A lot of people today that they do Teshuvah, and then the wife, she don't follow. And then what he does, he starts fighting with his wife. It's no good. The end, she will divorce him. She will be more bad than him. So what you should do your best. One hand, push, tell her it's no good what you're doing, but with the other hand, try, be nice. Maybe by being nice to her, maybe she will do Teshuvah as well. There is a big rabbi here in Israel that one day, 40 years ago, he was he was a big actor. He was a singer, actor, and he did a lot of films. And then he did Teshuvah. Then one day he woke up and he did a big Teshuvah. And he became really a tzaddik. But his wife, she didn't want to follow him. But he was very, very clever with her. He was very nice to her. He started to have beard, and all the medias in Israel, they started to talk bad about him, and to make him angry, they did all his films, all the bad films that he did in his life, they put them on Shabbat, but he was patient. He said, this is my tikkun. And every day he gave a lot of shiurim, a lot of lectures in Israel, and always he talked about all the bad things that he did. But he said, but I did Teshuvah. But what about his wife? At the beginning, his wife, she was against him. But slowly, she became a tzaddiket. And today, she's a big tzaddiket. Well, my friend, this is something that we have to learn. Your left hand, you push, and with the right hand, you bring back. There was somebody that, unfortunately, today, I promise you, a lot of people, they get divorced. Why? Because when they do Teshuvah, they don't understand why the wife, or sometimes it's the wife who do Teshuvah and not the husband, and she don't understand why the husband, he don't follow her. No. Because when they got married, both of them, they were not in the right way. Now, Baruch Hashem, they did a big Teshuvah, okay, but you cannot force. So you have to be patient. Very, very patient. Even if you see your son that he take a bad way, don't push him. Do your best. Be nice to him. By being nice to him, you can bring him back to you. Otherwise, it could be a problem. My friend, that was Yitzhak Avinu. For Yitzhak Avinu, he knows that Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim. Yaakov is in the yeshiva, he learned Torah, he heard his voice, no problem. His problem was not to push Esav. Why? Because maybe Esav will be a tzaddik. Maybe. The problem was that Yitzhak Avinu, he gave a lot of chances to Esav. And Esav, he didn't want to take a chance to go back to the Torah. And that's why Rivka, she was brought up with a bad family, not religious family. And she fought for herself to be a tzaddiket. And she see Esav, that he was brought up in a good family, the family of Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, and he do the opposite of them. She can't stand it. I mean, she didn't push him, but she didn't show him love. But she was a tzaddiket. I mean, if she was bad, she would throw him from the house. Like Sarah, she did to Ishmael. She threw him out on the house. But she didn't do that. She left him in the house. Why? She said, maybe one day we'll listen to her husband. She was a tzaddiket. She said, well, I don't push. But she showed more love to Yaakov more than Esav. But Esav, as well, she loved him. The proof that she didn't push him out of the house. She could do it, and she didn't do it. But Yitzhak Avinu, he gave love to Esav 100%. Maybe. He didn't use Yad Merahiket. He didn't use the hand to push him. All the time he used only to bring him back. Till one day he told him, go to hunt, bring me some kosher food, and I give you the best bracha. And Hashem will accept my bracha. But unfortunately, instead of bringing him kosher food, they bring him a dog, the head of a dog. A dog. Can you imagine Yitzhak Avinu? eating a dog. That's what he did for Baruch Hashem. He didn't eat it because in the meantime, Yaakov will bring him the food. So then, Yitzhak Avinu, he realized that there is no way to do. So now he started to push a little bit Esav. But he did not push him once for all. Only, he didn't tell him, get out from here. He pushed him a little bit, and on the other hand, he was trying to get him back. So my friend, this is the lesson, what we learn from this parasha. What we learn from Yitzhak, his love to Esav, Rivka, her love to Yaakov, but both of them, they use the patient way. Yad marhika v'yad mekarevet. With the left hand they push, and with the right hand they try to bring him back to Esav, maybe with the Teshuvah, and at the end it was no way. Because in life it's very important that the child as well should do his effort, and the parent should do their effort. But the effort of the parent has no limit. All the time. I wish you well. God bless you. Shabbat Shalom. And I pray to Hashem to give you all what you need.